Good morning, afternoon, or evening. How y'all doing today? Welcome back to Mr. Morrow's geometry class. Welcome you back to this awesome year. We're going to learn a lot. Geometry is a tough subject, but it's going to be made very easy for you if you really focus on this chapter. A lot of vocabulary and terms are going to be used, and you can't just learn them for a quiz or a test. You really have to understand them. So let's go through all of them right quick. Okay, number one, a point. Okay, most people think they know what a point is, but they can't really define a point. And a point is an infinitely small singularity. That means that it occurs in one place. It's a location on a plane represented by a dot. I have two periods there, but the one in parentheses, okay, that's a point. You use capital letters to represent points, such as, let's say I go ahead and just draw a point right there. I can call that A. Or another point here, I call that B. Seems really simple, but it's something that we really have to understand. Capital letters are used to define points. That's why if you've ever seen a triangle, okay, most of the time, triangle's made up of 3 points. This guy, and this guy. And we're going to get into what those points are. These are called vertices. But it's made up of 3 points. So that's why usually you'll see capital letters, A, B, and C, defining that triangle because they are points. So it's not that they use the capital because they want to. It's just they have to. Okay? Next. Whoa, sorry about that. Okay, next. A line. A line is an infinite extension in 2 directions of one dimension or plane. It is represented by a drawn line with 2 arrows at its ends. A minimum of points, blank, okay, that's a mess up. A minimum, right here, oh, what am I doing here? Sorry, guys. A minimum of 2 points is required. 2 points are required to form a line. Points are found on lines within planes. So you need a point to create a line. Okay? For example, that's a line. Now we can name this line in several ways, my friends. If you notice, okay, let me change colors here so you can really see what I'm talking about. If you notice, you have this L here, okay? That L can define the line right off the bat. So you could literally say line L, okay? Now, remember that I just finished saying you need 2 points. 2 points to create a line, a minimum of 2 points. So we have 3 points here. So I can call this line several things. I can say line AB, right? Or I could say line BA. Notice please how on the top of the letters, I am drawing a little symbol of a line. It has arrows going in both ways. Please try to recognize that. You can also say it's going to be AC, okay, or CA. What else do you think you could get? Those are just a few ways to name this. What else? Using that logic. Yes, sir. ABC, no. Thank you for saying that. Good job. Awesome mistake. ABC, when you use 3 letters, you're talking about an angle or a triangle, and that middle angle is the vertex. You need 2. You need 2 points at least to form it. But when you name it, you only name it with 2. Yes, sir, my brother. Okay, yes, sir, what you got? BC? Yes, BC will work. BC will work. Yes, sir. Line D, you can use 1 letter, but the D is not signified there. Yeah? The D is not signified there. In that case, only the L is, right? But someone said BC, I think someone said. BC. What else? What else? Line CB, yes. So any one of those combos can and will be used to define a line, to write a line. Pretty simple, right? These things are Mickey Mouse. Yes, I know. Please don't get bored on me. These are really crucial things to learn as we get heavier and heavier. I'm not going to have time to go back and reiterate these. So please learn them now. And thank you. A line segment. A line segment is a portion of a line that has an exact beginning and end. Okay? So by that, I mean that there is an exact beginning. That's A, my beginning. And that's B, my end. Okay? And it is named in terms of its end points. So that AB there, guys, can be written as such. A, B. Or B, A. Notice that a line segment does not go on forever, gentlemen. So hence, it ends in two endpoints. Okay? Who can give me well, yeah, there's only going to be two segments here, but you can write them a few different ways. How would you write the segments to this figure right here? Can anyone give me a segment? Yes, sir. FG or GF. Very good. And what else? Yes, sir. GH or HG. Now, a lot of teachers are very sticklers for the way they write lines or segments. I am one of those. Please notice that a segment has no arrows because there is a definite end and a definite beginning. Please and thank you. Okay? Now, let's do a quick check. Okay? Name all of the lines and segments in the figure below. Okay, you guys are going to tell me the answers, and I'll write them down. Okay, so first of all, let's stick with lines. How can we name these lines here? What do you think? Yes, sir. Actually, I've already prepared this, so it's going to be a lot easier. Go ahead. What do you got? Line CF. Okay, what else do you think it could be? CD. What else? Yes, sir. CE. Yes. What else? Write these down, guys. What else? We got CE. Yes, sir. DF. What else? Can I also use FD? Yes. Remember, if you name one, like, for example, CF, that means FC is going to work as well. If you say CD, that means DC will work as well. If you say CE, that means EC will work as well. Does that make sense? You can always change the order of them. So as far as lines go, this will be all of our lines, my friends. And please notice that I have arrows over those letters. Those arrows indicate lines. So I've got CF, ED, DE, CD, EF, DF, CE, EC, DC, and actually I'm missing one. I got CF, but I never put FC, did I? Yep, the answer is no, Mr. Moore, you did not. Okay, so FC is also one of those. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, that's a wonderful question. The question was, if on a test or a quiz we put line CF, do we also have to put line FC? No. On a test, I wouldn't ask you probably for all of them. I may say, give me the name of 3 lines. How can you name this line in 3 ways? And as you can see, there's 7 ways here, so there's plenty. Thank you so much for asking. How about segments, guys? Yes, sir. Okay, no, never mind. You sure? You got it? Yes, sir. AB, remember the segments are going to be just with a line on it. So AB is definitely a segment. What else? Sir? BA. What else? BD. AD. DA. What else, guys? Come on, only a few people answering. Yes, sir. DB. BA, we already said that. I think we've already captured all of the segments here. But remember what we said, guys. Line segments are part of a line. So there's going to be some segments in here as well, right? Right? What would the segments be here? DE, exactly. But is a DE going to have arrows to represent a line? Or is it going to just be a straight line without any arrows? Straight line without any arrows, very good. What else? What else can be a segment on that line, CF? CD or DC? Does that make sense, guys? You guys with me here? Those are all the segments we got here. A lot of segments on this one because there's a lot of different combinations. But remember, as someone so eloquently put, DF is the same thing, guys, as FD. Why did you write it so many ways then, Mr. Moore, you may ask? Excuse me. I want you to be able to be free to name it either way you want. Okay, if one of you puts, oh, this segment is DF, and the other student puts FD, well, that's great. They're both going to be accurate. As long as you remember, guys, there's no arrows for segments. Does that make sense? Okay. May I continue, gentlemen? Yes? Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, number 4, array. Array is a set of points with only one endpoint. It's headed in only one direction, infinitely in that particular direction. Arrays are always named from the endpoints, such as, okay, in this particular case, since it's array, I'm going to draw a symbol of array. And you have to start with the endpoints in mind. It can never go backwards, my friends. So for example, don't you see here, let's look at ray AC. If you look at ray AC, A is my endpoint right over here, and it's shooting through C, and it's going infinitely in that direction towards C. Does that make sense? Okay? So then, with that in mind, what else can be another ray here, gentlemen? Yes, sir. BC. Yes, and actually shouldn't have done that, because look what I did. There, those points, they'll do it in a different color. BC. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else can we do? Yes, sir. AB. Yes, sir. That'd be going here, A, going through B forever. Very excellent. And that, yes, sir. Okay, thank you so much for that. CA is not acceptable. And let me show you why, sir. Do you guys notice how the arrow is pointing in the direction of where the line is going? Do you see that? It starts with A, for example, right? But then it goes through C. That arrow indicates that it's going through C. So if you went CA, that means that it went this way, but does it continue forever? So no, CA in this case, my friends, would only be a segment, and you'd have to write it as such. CA would not be array. Array has to start with the endpoint, and then it goes towards the letter that it is headed in that direction. Does that make sense? Sir and sir.
When you name array, do you have to show the symbol above?
Yes, sir.
The same way that it's pointing.
Yes, sir. That was exactly what I was trying to explain, and apparently you got it. Thank you so much. What my boy asked is, can you do this, Mr. Morrow? A, B, going this way. The answer is no. You can never do it that way, okay? You have to start from the endpoint, A, towards the direction and towards the letter that it is going to. So A, B, it's got to go that way because I'm going from A and I'm headed towards B. Sir. Okay, great question. Okay, let me do this then. Fantastic, and I thank you for that. This is a sharp class. We're going to have a very good year. What my boy just finished asking was, what if I have it like this, Mr. Morrow? And I have, this is A, and this is B. Guess what, guys? Even if it's going in that other direction towards the left, you're still going AB. Because the ray is saying, okay, here's my endpoint, here's A. Where am I going towards? B. It doesn't matter if you're going to the left or to the right. What this symbol tells you is that I'm starting at A and I'm going towards B, whether it's up, down, left, or right. That's a great question. Thank you. Excellent job. Sir.
So basically, like when you put the line on top,
Uh-huh.
you point the direction that it's going to.
No, you don't put the direction that it's going to. Remember, look, think about it, guys. This is great. I appreciate the questions. Did I go like this? A, B. Did I go that way since I was going to the left?
No.
No. I always am going to point my arrow to the right.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like you point.
You point the arrow to the letter that the ray is going through.
Okay.
But it's always going to be to the right. It doesn't matter if you're going to the left, up, down, or to the right.
You make it work to the right. Like,
Correct.
okay.
For example, here, let me just make sure, guys. I want to make sure you guys got this. I really appreciate the honesty. That's how we learn. I mean it. All right, let's do this. Let me just do a new one. Let's say I go like this, straight up and down. Okay, and I call this G, and I call this guy here D. This is going to be ray GD. Doesn't matter the direction of my line. Am I not going up from G to D? But look at my arrow. It's still representing that I'm going from G to D. It does not matter if I'm going up, down, left, or right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Really appreciate that. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, a number line. You know what a number line is. A number line is a line with numerical values which points on that particular which has a point on that particular number line. Okay? So for example, if I say that's A and that's B and that's C, I can say that point A has a value of 3. Point B has a value of -5. Point C has a value of 9. A number line just gives you an exact location. You know, kind of like a GPS. It lets you know where you're going. It's kind of like a GPS in a way. Very simple one. Lets you locate a particular point due to a particular numerical value. May I continue, gentlemen? Thank you. Okay, next. Number 6. All right, this is the fun stuff. An angle. An angle is made up of 2 rays, guys, if you think about it. It's 2 rays that share the same endpoints, which is called a vertex. And you can see, I'll switch to blue here. That blue point, that's my vertex, gentlemen, okay? The 2 rays which form the angle are called the sides. So hence, the sides, okay? But these 2 sides form an angle. This angle is called a vertex. Every polygon on this earth has vertices. A square has 4 corners or 4 vertices. It has 4 angles. A triangle has 3 angles or 3 vertices. Okay? So anywhere that you have 2 rays connected, or actually 2 segments that connect or intersect, or 2 lines that intersect, that intersection point is called the angle or the vertex, to be more technical. Okay. One can name an angle in a myriad of ways. That means in several ways, depending on the information given. So let's look at the 4 figures that I have here, gentlemen. In the first figure, I have an angle and it just has a 2 on it. So guess what, guys? We can call this angle 2, literally. Put that symbol of an angle, though, please. In the second figure, my friends, we have the vertex is angle A. But we've got three different letters here. So I can call this particular figure, I can call it angle A, I can, or even better, because you have three, B, A, C, or C, A, B. Please notice that, I'm going to highlight this. Please notice that the A is in the center. Why is the A in the center? Remember, sir, talk to me. Why? That's exactly right. It's the vertex. That is the point of intersection between those two rays or lines or segments. So I can call that sucker A, angle CAB, or angle BAC. Done. What am I limited to in the third figure here, gentlemen? What am I limited to? Because I was only given one thing. Angle E and only angle E. There's no other way around it. Sir.
On the text, are we going to have to fit all three of those, or should we just do angle A, angle 2, angle B?
Again, the reason I'm teaching you all the different ways is so that you have the tools. So on the test, for example, if I gave you figure 2 and you wrote down angle A, and I just said, name the angle, and I just said it just, one way, and you put angle A, I cannot mark that wrong, son. If you put CAB or BAC, I cannot mark that wrong. How can I mark it wrong? You don't put the angle symbol? Or let's say you put BCA. That's wrong because C is not the angle or the vertex. Thank you so much. Now, the good one, the best one. Okay, we have here GFH. That's the major angle, right? But there's a lot of different angles here, believe it or not. If you're talking about the whole entire main, the whole vertex, the biggest vertex that is formed from the ray GF, which is this guy, and and FI, which is that guy, if you look at it only from those two, we can call this angle F or angle GFH or angle GFI, correct? Or I'm going to go backwards on it. You could go IFG or HFG. Now, what if I wanted to only label the angle that is represented by that number 1? I'm going to switch colors. I can go ahead and say it's angle 1. Yes, you can. What's a fancier name for? Yes, sir. Angle GFJ. Thank you. Or, of course, angle JFG. That makes sense, gentlemen. Okay. What about angle 2? What can I do with angle 2? Sir. You could put angle GFH is angle 1 and 2 together, is it not? GFH is this whole thing, right? I'm just looking for angle 2, sir. What would angle 2 be alone? Yes, sir. JFH. Yes, very good. JFH right here. Angle JFH. Or I could call it JFI. Angle JFI. Very good. Could I call this angle angle 2 as well? Yes, I can in this case. Can I call it angle F, though, by itself? No, because angle F encompasses both angle 1 and 2. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
You could combine G1
You couldn't say angle G1J. No, sir. You either got to go by the numbers or by the letters. It's a fantastic question. Thank you. Sir.
You call it angle 1, 2.
You cannot call it angle 1, 2 as well. That's a great question. Absolutely. If you want to represent angle 1 and 2 together, it would be angle F, like we started, angle GFH, GFI, or angle IFG or HFG. Does that make sense, gentlemen? Awesomeness. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, a triangle. Triangle is a polygon, which is a closed figure made of 3 sides and angles. You can name triangles in several ways as long as the vertex is always in the middle. Okay, such as, just like everything we've done, you have to have a little symbol. So we're going to put a little triangle. Okay, and I can say this can be ABC or triangle CAB or triangle BCA, okay, or triangle BAC, or any combination of that. Just please be aware of how you write the triangle determines which one is going to be the middle angle there. When I say triangle BCA, BCA, I'm talking about C is my vertex for the way I wrote that particular triangle. That middle letter is the vertex. Does that make sense, boys? Yes, sir, and yes, sir. Thank you. Correct, sir. In this particular way, if this particular question, I just said, you know, name 4 ways to write this triangle, it doesn't matter. But if I told you specifically, write this triangle using angle B as the vertex, then you would be limited to ABC or CBA. And those would be your only limits. Great question, son. Anything else, boys? Continue? Okay, I'll take that as a continue. It is important to recognize that a triangle is simply a union of 3 segments, guys. And each vertex is simply an intersection of 2 sides, which helps make up the triangle. So a union, okay, represented by a U, means that all elements combined together form 2 or more sets or figures. So when we're talking about a union, I'm talking about the following, guys. Segment AB is in union with segment BC, which is in union with segment CA, which creates triangle ABC. A union means that all of the elements that you have in front of you, whether it's in a figure or in a set, all of the elements, okay, are unified. They're all combined together. If we're talking about an intersection, it's an intersection like at a street where 2 roads collide. The elements that are shared by 2 or more sets of figures. Okay? So in this particular case, if you think about it, AB has an intersection with BC, which forms angle B. Because that's where they both intersect. Is this making sense, gentlemen? Awesome. Okay. Let us continue. Okay, example 1. How many lines are shown in this little figure here, guys? How many lines are shown? Yes, sir. 0. Very good. Absolutely 0 right now in this particular case. Why would this be 0? Why is this 0? Why? Yes, sir. Exactly, they're both segments. Now let's go ahead. I'm so proud of you guys. I really, really am proud of you guys. Now let's go ahead and change these. Let's change these to lines now. You guys are sharp. I'm very proud of you. Okay. Now, How many lines are there now? There's just one line. Okay. Name the line. Sir.
Line.
Okay, you could put line BD or no, not line C, that's an angle. Line DB. What else, guys? One more way to name that line.
Line.
Line M, very good. You just would go line M. You don't put a little line symbol on top of the M. You only put the line symbol when there's 2 points together. Yes, sir. CD would be, it depends how you wrote it. You could also put, I'm glad you caught that, son. You could put like this. It depends how you wrote it. If you did this, that's CD a line. Right? But if you did this, that's CD array. Right? Make sense? So it depends on the symbol. Depends on what you're looking for. Great question. Could be the same for CB as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sir.
For angle C, it's also angle CA, ACP or angle D, CA.
Yes, for angle C, I can actually, depends which angle. I can do ACD, DCA, ACB, which would be this guy, or BCA, DCE, which would be this guy, or ECD, or BCE, which would be this guy, or ECB.
So you either name it by the vertex, the letter of the vertex, or all 3 points.
Correct, sir. Now, saying angle C here would be no good because there's 4 different angle C's. You have to articulate which one it is in this particular case. Does that make sense? Okay. Where do AC and DE intersect? Look at your figure, guys. Where do AD and DE intersect? Where do AC and DE? Whoa. That's impossible. Hold on. Human error. Let's go this way. And let's go this way. The magic of computers. Okay. Now, where do AC and DE intersect? Guys? AC and DE. They're going to intersect right here. Right? Let's see. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. Where does AC, ray AC, intersect with line BC? This is a good one. How's that happening? If I look at ray AC, I got this guy right here, this ray. But then I have line BC, okay, which would be going this way, right? So who's overlapping there? Where do they both get overlapped there, guys? Huh? No, C is one angle. Think about it. Look, guys, pay attention. I got AC, which goes from here to there and goes forever, correct? Now, I've got BC, which goes from here to there, right? Isn't A, B overlap there? Isn't that where both lines intersect? Guys, are you with me here? You promise? So it'd be AB, and that's a segment, so boom. What is formed by ray BA and in union with, okay, that one's wrong. I messed up with the letters. Don't worry about that one. Yes, sir.
Question C, how would we write the C intersects?
In that case, you'd be in words. It intersects at point C. Which C? You have to determine that one. Okay? Okay, name 2 rays that go in the direction of C here. Sir. AB, yeah? AC, very good. You could have also done BC. Name the segment joining A and B. No, the segment. Segment AB. Very good, my brother. Next, draw a diagram which describes. Okay, we got 2 and then a few questions left. Okay, guys, do the last few questions at home. The answers are in your book, okay? But the lesson has been taught. Your homework is online, and I will post this video on Shobi. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.